last year, 6 out of the 7 guys we sent to Congress were not only for the fair tax, they were sponsors of the fair tax. Promised they would vote for it, promised they would support it. Now, every new Congress, they got to sign up to sponsor again. And all of them did except one, and that's Dan Boren here in District 2. So if you want to change this awful way they're taxing us, you're going to have to contact your congressman and get him to sign back on. We need his help. We need all of their help. 600 to 700 people now are signing up with the Fair Tax Organization every week. We've got this snowball and rolling downhill. Well, I heard a pretty good applause line about the fair tax early. How many here of y'all are already fair taxers? That's right. How many of y'all here have never heard of the fair tax before today? Man, that's incredibly great, because that's the biggest problem we have is that, I'm always preaching to the choir. People want to come see me talk about the fair tax are already believers in the fair tax. I got to get the word spread out. They're injecting something into this. I saw Coburn's town hall over in Sepulpa on Monday. The guy got up and asked the question. He said, "Hey, my congressmen are pretty good. They're doing a pretty good job. What are we going to do about the rest of the guys in the rest of the country?" And he said, "Listen, there ain't nothing wrong with you writing a congressman in another district." He said, "The second thing is, he said, y'all got family somewhere else?" A lot of people raise their hands. We need to get hold of our families around the country and get them as successful in doing this as we are here in Oklahoma. We got it going on here in Oklahoma. We got to do something about what's going on in the rest of the country. They're lagging behind. So I encourage you, call your relatives. Get them to go to town hall meetings. 3-4 years ago, I went to Coburn's open house in Broken Arrow. Town of 100,000 people, 35 people attended. That's horrible. That's disgusting. Went to his open house in Sepulpa. I bet there's 125, 150 people there. So we got it going. It's going. More people are concerned. You can encourage these people, and they're not going to look at you like you're a nutcase. You got to do something. All right, just a little bit about the fair tax, because I'm going to pass this on to the next guy, and it's far too complicated to talk about in any great detail in the amount of time that I have, and I appreciate the time that I've got. If you want to learn more about the fair tax, go to fairtax.org, and if you sign up while you are there, you'll be one of now 6,000 people. Now, the truth of the matter is 40,000 people have signed up just from Oklahoma, and about 4 million people have signed up from around the country. But 6,000, and here in Oklahoma, we have 6,000 active email addresses that I can blast out information to. I think a lot of you people here have already gotten an email from me. If you're already signed up, you're already fair taxers. That's the way we're communicating. That's the way you learn about events like this and other events we have going on. It'll get us all together again and again and again until we get this done. So I encourage you to go there. There's tons of reading about what it is, but in a nutshell, in brief, the fair tax will get you 100% of your paycheck with nothing but your state taxes taken out. It eliminates all payroll taxes, all corporate taxes, the inheritance tax, all those kinds of taxes. Gives you 100% of your paycheck, nothing taken out except the state taxes. We can fix that too going forward. Why? Well, on average, anything manufactured in the United States, 24% of the cost to manufacture that is embedded income taxes, embedded taxes. And so here in Oklahoma, I've lost a bunch of good customers because of just the silly way we collect taxes. Those companies have closed down, moved those jobs overseas because there's not an embedded tax in something built on the other side of the Pacific Ocean. So we're giving them an advantage over us, and we're sending our jobs overseas. So that's the first darn good reason to do it. Also, corporations don't pay taxes. They add it to the cost of the material, and then they pass that on to us. We pay it, and then they just send it to the government. So it's just a silly way to do things. I could go on and on. Two of the biggest, this can be done, it's easy to be done. Two of the biggest economies in the world, Texas and Florida, do not have an income tax. So we don't have to have an income tax to collect taxes. Also, last year I had good information for in 2006, the government collected $2.3 trillion. The reason we're here today is they spent $2.7 trillion. The cost to the economy to collect that $2.3 trillion was $748 billion. The cost to collect the income tax is about 24% of what they actually collect. It is the most horribly inefficient way to collect taxes that anybody could invent. The fair tax is a one-time national retail sales tax on everything brand new.
Tell me one thing the government said it doesn't do.
And you can collect the sales tax for about 1%. So it's a very efficient way to collect taxes. In 1990, a few rich guys in Houston were kind enough to put together about $22 million and hire a bunch of economists out of Harvard and Boston University to come up with this kind of a plan to give us a fairer way to collect taxes. And so it's all been tested, it's all been calculated, it's all been thought about, it's all been written into the legislation, and it's all down at the Congress, ready to go, ready to be passed. So we also have Neil Boards and other people on the radio talking about this every day. We got a lot of support to get this done. Now's the time to get her going. Just a few other things in the time I have left. If we wait around for the politicians to fix Social Security, it ain't never going to happen. It's the third rail of politics. They're not going to fix it. The fair tax will solve the problem because right now, we're going forward, for every person that collects income taxes, there's only going to be about 3 people, every person that collects Social Security, there are only going to be about 3 people paying into the system. And so the fair tax will switch taxation over to not the people who earn money, but the people who spend money. And everybody spends money. We estimate there's a $2 trillion economy in the United States of people who are not paying income taxes. The fair tax will tax them. So that will help in paying our taxes. We'll have to pay by so much. And so they don't have to fix Social Security. All they have to do is pass the fair tax. It's the solution to that problem. There's $13 trillion overseas that corporations will not bring back into this country because they'll get the heck taxed out of it. So if you pass the fair tax, they can bring that money back into this country and invest it in factories, in jobs. I mean, it's the stimulation package. It's all systems go with it. So I think I'm going to end up there and give the next speaker the remaining 15 minutes. So I encourage you to go to fairtax.org and get signed up. And I'm not going to have time for a lot of questions. It's fair to say to this other guy, but go for it. That's a good one. Yes,